Hi everyone, welcome into this week's my weekly CBS Fix. This week's Parsha is Parshas Netzavim, and on Sunday evening is the holiday of Rosh Hashanah. And the verse starts off by saying, Atem Netzavim Hayom. Today you are standing here today, and it's a message to us as well. It's towards the end of the year, and thankfully we're still here. We have a lot to be thankful for because not everybody made it through the year, and it's something that we should actually be very, very happy about, that we made it. Whatever we did last year, Hashem liked it, and Hashem inscribed us in the Book of Life, and we have to view it like that as well. Now, Rosh Hashanah certainly is a time for introspection. It's not really a time for asking Hashem for forgiveness, or it's not really a time to ask Hashem to forgive us, and it's not really a time to figure out how we're going to change our ways, but rather Rosh Hashanah is a time to proclaim that Hashem is King. It's all about Hashem. And if there's no Hashem, then there's nobody to ask forgiveness from. At the same time, there is a level of introspection, because in order to make Hashem your king, at the same time you're saying that you're hereby making him his servant. And in order for you to be Hashem's servant, so you have to change some of your ways, because if you're going to continue doing things that you've been doing till now that is not in accordance with the king that loves you and whom you love, you can't really consider yourself a servant. So I just want to share with you one idea. I'm going to give three answers to one question. I do want to harp on the third answer more. The question really is, why don't people change? Why don't people change their ways? We all know that our lives could be better and should be better, so why don't we change? So the first two answers to say quickly is, most people say, me? I don't need to change. I didn't do anything wrong. Certainly repenting and doing tshuva and coming back to Hashem is important, but it doesn't mean me. It means the people that are really bad. That's not me. And the truth is, it's not like that. If you love somebody, if you love a king, in any single way that you can try to prove to that person that you love them, you'll do it. It's not just for the big picture. And anyway, the second answer is that a lot of people like to think that I would do certain things that Hashem wants me to do, but my life is going to get ruined. These mitzvahs will get in the way, different things that Hashem wants me to do. On Shabbos, I can't go anywhere, and during the holidays, I can't talk on the phone. We have to change the mindset that if Hashem gave us something to do, it will harm us. We have to change that mindset. But rather, if Hashem gave us something to do, it's obviously for our best. And it doesn't make any sense that Hashem would give us a mitzvah to do that will somehow harm us. So we have to inculcate ourselves more to what it is that Hashem wants us to do. And the third answer that I want to share with you is an answer that I heard kind of from Rabbi Yisachar, a friend. The idea is that we kind of get used to the situation that is. I mean, we realize the daunting situation of it, but you know what? It's been going on like this for such a long time. I'm just used to it. And sometimes we make like a New Year's resolution. Yeah, we're going to do it, and we start doing it, and within a month, we completely forgot about our resolution. What happens is that the first time you experience failure, so all right, big deal. So okay, so I just go back to how it is. Now, Rabbi Fran shared a medrash. The medrash says that at the time that Jacob, our forefather, passed away, so his children were carrying off to Israel, and there they met Jacob's wicked brother Esav. And Esav didn't want Jacob to be buried because he said that the land of Israel belonged to him. And because Jacob had sold his firstborn to Esav, and it was part of their contract, and they said, well, where's the contract? And he said, well, Jacob took it with him to Egypt. So they quickly sent one of the brothers to Egypt that he should go run and bring it back. He's a very, very fast runner. And meanwhile, one of the nephews over there, his name was Hushim. Hushim was the son of Dun. And Hushim was deaf. And he couldn't hear what was going on in the whole battle. He knew one thing, and one thing only, that his grandfather was sitting over here. It was a complete disgrace for his grandfather to be sitting waiting like this. The mitzvah is that a person who passes away should be buried immediately. And Hushim is sitting over there wondering, what is going on over here? Yaakov Avinu, Jacob, our father, is laying here. We got to get moving. And he's looking around, and now what happened? Everybody else understood the conversation. There was give and takes back and forth. And so therefore, they've made peace with the situation, Chaim Shmulevitz explains. But Hushim didn't know what was going on. And he did what he needed to do. Esav is the wicked person. He got up, he clobbered him over the head, he killed him on the spot. Now, after that, of course, they were able to proceed and do what needed to be done, both according to the contract, both according to what Hashem had promised Jacob. And they said, so now what happened over here is that Chushim, because he didn't have that sense of hearing, he just was able to view the scenario from an outside perspective and do what was actually the right thing to do. And sometimes that happens. And sometimes you can hear about a friend of yours or a family member that got sent to the hospital, and you're so shocked. And you start praying the first day, the second day. 2 weeks later, they're still in the hospital, but your level of prayer has dropped. And why? Because you become complacent. You're not as in the mood anymore. You've lost an edge. You lost it. Sometimes we lose an edge in life. Like I myself, I'm a sports fan, and sometimes I want to follow sports. And sometimes I'll catch myself, like, what am I doing? Someone said to me once, if a Martian came down from outer space and you tried to explain to the Martian why you were actually a sports fan, what would you say? The words wouldn't really make sense. Well, my father grew up in Philadelphia. I grew up liking this team. Yeah, but what does the team have to do with you? If they win, like, how does your life get any better? There's no explanation. It's simply emotional. It's not intellectual. And sometimes we get emotionally caught up on something and it doesn't make sense. Or sometimes we get emotionally caught up and it makes sense, but then we lose it and we forget what's important. And one of the messages of Rosh Hashanah is that our soul is sometimes, unfortunately, many people's Martians, because we get so focused on what our body wants, and that becomes our focus. And our neshama sometimes comes knocking on the door and says, hello, what are you doing? Why are you doing? You know you were sent here with a mission. You know you were sent here with a job of becoming as spiritual as you can and try to come close to Hashem, develop this connection with Hashem. And instead you're developing a connection with food. And instead you're developing a connection with money, or with cars, or with luxury, or with sins. And the neshama tries to wake us up. There's that discussion between the soul and the guf, between the soul and the body. And it's telling us, wake up. We have to wake up. What are you doing? You have to remember what we're here for. We can't get complacent in life. We can't say, well, I've been doing this particular sin for the last 30 years. It is what it is. That's who I am. So, no, we have to, the soul wants us to wake up. And we do have to wake up. And when we hear the sound of the shofar's message is, Uru mishnazchem, like the Maimonides says, wake up from your slumber. And we're slumbering. You're slumbering. I'm slumbering. We're all slumbering, because guess what? We all have an obligation to hear the shofar. There's nobody that does not have to hear the shofar. We're all obligated to hear the shofar. In a certain sense, we're all sleeping, because in a certain sense, we all become complacent, and we all let our bodies do the talking instead of our soul. And so therefore, that's what Hashem wants from us. Very easy. It's a very easy thing to do, to sometimes reawaken yourself and try to get on track. If you're not sure what to do, you pick up the phone, you call your local Orthodox rabbi. Listen, what is it that I can do that can reawaken me? And by the way, you shouldn't only wait for Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is not the only time to awaken yourself. Rosh Hashanah is the time to let yourself know that you can do it. And if you could do it this month, you could do it the next month, you could do it the next month, you could do it the next month. And by next year, Rosh Hashanah, you're a completely different person. So hopefully this year, Hashem will inscribe you in the book of life again. Next year, you should be able to say that verse, Atim Netzavim Hayam Kulchem, you're all here today, and we all be here today to be able to greet Mashiach Tzidkenu, and Hashem should listen to all your tefillos, and all your prayers, you, your entire family together. Have a happy, healthy, sweet new year.